Once you've changed the settings in your Gmail to make your buttons appear with text instead of icons, the buttons that you get when you are in a message are archive, spam, delete, mark as read, move to, labels, and more. So let's talk about what they do. If I've got this message and I want to archive it, that means it's going to take it out of my inbox and it's going to save it someplace. I'm just not going to see it in my inbox. So if I click archive, message has been archived, it's no longer here in my list, and if I want to find it, I can search for it in a couple of different ways. I know that it had the words several people in it. So if I search for several people, here are all the emails I have with the words several people. And here's the original one that I got, several people on this email. So it's archived, so it still exists, it just doesn't show up in my inbox. So archiving is a great way to clean up your inbox a bit. Spam. Clicking the spam button when you've got a message selected marks that email sender as a spam sender. So sometimes you get that garbage that you don't want. Clicking spam will mark it as spam. It'll go into a spam folder and you won't have to see it in your inbox anymore. The delete button deletes your messages. You click delete, this message has been moved to the trash. Now it still exists. It's still in a folder called trash, which we'll look at in a second. You can always undo that by clicking undo if you do it within the first 30 seconds after you click delete. So that message is back. I can delete it. I can bring it back. After I delete it, if I want to find it, I can go into trash, which is over here. We'll talk about that in a minute. Sometimes you get new emails and you don't want to have to bother to click through them. Let's say that these were all new messages that I had not read, which I can mark them as unread if I want. So now they look like messages that I have not yet read. I can, instead of having to read it, just mark it as read, and now it no longer looks like a brand new message that's waiting for me. It looks like an old message I've already read. If I click on it and I give it 3 seconds, which is my timeout, it'll switch from read to unread. I can also use the move to and labels features, which we'll talk about more at a later point. Move to takes a message from here and moves it to one of your labels. And labels shows you your available labels or lets you create new ones. Again, we'll talk about labels a little later. The more button, kind of handy. If you want to mark a message as unread, I want to come back to this later, I don't want to forget it. If I mark it as unread, it's now going to show up in my unread count. Notice that my count has gone to 3. If I click on here and I wait 3 seconds, it's going to go to 2. If I click on this one and I say mark as read, it goes to 1. So if I want to mark this as unread so I remember to come back to it, I can do that. I can also mark messages as not important or important. This one's set as important already. It's a flag that Gmail puts on automatically. I can mark it as not important if I want. It'll learn my preferences for certain senders. If I mark all of a certain person's messages as unimportant or as important, it'll start to mark them that way. If I want to add an email to my task list, it'll add to a list of things I want to get done. So that's kind of a handy feature. If I do add to tasks, I've now got a little task list that has these different things I've added to it. And since I added it as an email, it'll show me if I click on this related email, which email it is that I've added to my task list. So that can be handy if you have a list of things you want to get done. My other option under more, I can add a star. That turns on this little star to mark it. I can remove the star, just a way to sort things, which I'll show you in a sec. I can also filter messages. We'll talk more about filtering later. It's a way to automatically send certain emails into certain folders. And last, I can mute a message. That means that it will not show up in my list anymore, and stuff from that person won't show up. So that's something you want to use judiciously. Those are what your buttons do. We've also got over here the left pane. Now the left pane is kind of handy. It shows you your inbox. It also shows you if you had certain emails marked with stars. If you click on starred, it only shows you the emails that have stars on them. So that can be a handy feature. Any email messages that are marked important, if you click on important, will show up. Chats, we have chat set up. If I was to do a chat with someone, it automatically saves a copy of the chats that I've done, saves the messages. Sent mail, that's all the messages I've sent to other people from this account. Saves all of those for me. Drafts are anything that I started to write but never actually sent. Okay, and I've deleted all the drafts that I didn't send already. I've also got more. Clicking more gives me a couple other options. It shows me all the mail ever. So if I archived something, if I muted something, if I moved something to another location, this is every single email that this account has received since it was opened up. All of them are there. Spam shows me anything that came in that was either flagged as spam automatically by Gmail or something I marked as spam. If I was to come over here and mark this message as spam, it's been marked as spam, and if I come down to my spam folder, there it is. And I can say, oh, you know what? I can delete that spam forever, or I can say, you know what? That's actually not spam. So I'm going to mark it not spam so I don't accidentally end up with all my messages from that account in the spam folder. I've also got a trash, and this is where stuff that I have thrown out ends up. So anything, any discarded drafts, any emails that I deleted, they end up in the trash can, and until I hit empty trash now, they'll stay there for up to 30 days. After 30 days, anything in the trash is automatically deleted. So you've got that sort of built-in buffer of, oh, I actually wanted to keep that. It stays in your trash can for 30 days. You're also going to see any new labels that you make are going to appear over here, and we'll talk about labels in just a bit. So that's the quick tour of Gmail.